Hi, I'm Ron Hawkins, Art Director here at Reaper.
I'm Ed Pugh, President here at Reaper.
And welcome to ReaperLive, the show where we blend painting, gaming, and geek culture all together for your viewing pleasure. So, you ready for the holidays?
I am. It's been a busy week around here.
Yeah.
Very, very busy.
Yeah. Sure
yes.
is.
With
Sure.
all of the year-end meetings have to occur, so we're getting all that stuff out of the way. The 12 days are winding up. I mean, it's really a lot of running.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of this thing.
So what are we going to start with this week?
Well, I'm still chit-chatting. This is small talk.
Sorry.
Got all your shopping done?
No.
I really don't
That's
care.
why I
I'm
was
just-
trying to avoid that
just
question.
asking,
No, now
but
I feel guilt.
I don't really care. I was just going to make it small talk.
No. Okay.
Don't feel bad. I don't have any of my shopping done either.
Well, I haven't gotten you anything.
Okay, well, then let's just go straight into this. So, speaking of 12 days and holiday shopping and all that fun stuff, we're going to start off with a discussion of our 12 days promotion and our holiday minis. Okay, so
They would be these right here.
these guys right here.
there.
These
Yes.
guys right here. So, all right, so let's back up just a little bit. So we kind of have two different things going at once. So first, we have our holiday minis, right? The holiday minis are only available every December, from like the 1st to the 31st. You can only get you can get them anytime you want to, and they're unlimited. You just go online and buy them, but they're only available for 31 days. And these include things like the Christmas night, Christmas Eve, Herschel, the Christmas reindeer. There are a few other ones like
the gift dragon, which is always popular.
well, that's a 12 days mini.
Right.
Okay, so that's a different promotion. So those are the holiday minis there in the center. Now on the outside ring we have the 12 days minis. So in the 12 days promotion is every day from the 5th through the 16th you're going to get the free mini of the day with your $40 order. So you make $40 order, you get a free mini of the day. Today, for example, is the dragon, the wrapping dragon, right? Yes. He is free today. You make a $40 order, you get this guy free. And for every $40 you spend, you get an additional wrapping dragon for free. But we made a change to our 12 days promotion this year.
For this year. This year you'll have the ability to, starting on the 17th when the promotion's over, through the 31st, to actually come back and purchase the 12-day models, the 12 days offering of models.
Yeah, normally we've never done that. You can only get them for free.
Right, you had your 12 days and that was it. But now you can come back, so if you've missed one, any reason at all, doesn't matter, but they're all for sale between the 17th and the end of the month.
So if I want to come back on the 17th and I want to buy 20 of that wrapping dragon.
You can do it.
I can do that.
Right line. Yes.
If I want to buy 10 of the cat dragon.
Yes, but they have to stay in even numbers. If you hit us with an odd number, it freaks them out.
Okay, so no odd numbers. That's really, you can do whatever you want to. Well, that's cool. That's a neat change, and the feedback has been really, really positive regarding that. So now let's make it even more special. What if you spend $65?
$65 gets you a free gift. Well, I guess it isn't. You had to spend $65 to get there. However, sort of like what we did with Halloween, we have the Christmas sampler pack. It comes with some minis, some paint, card, etc. in here. But the cool part is you either get a piece of coal,
if you're
or
naughty,
you get a tree ornament. This particular one has a tree ornament.
Here, I'll show you. Here, let's just do this. If you're
go.
naughty, coal for you.
Yes.
Coal. You get coal. If you're nice, then you get, I'll leave that like that. You get
An ornament for your tree.
the Mr. Bones ornament.
Yes.
It says Merry Christmas on the back.
So these are and are they incremental? Every $65 to
No,
order?
one per order.
One per order.
On the bag, it's one per order. On the minis, it's every $40.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on, and that's what's keeping us busy.
So Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from Reaper to you guys. Thanks for being valuable customers. We really appreciate your support throughout the year. Yeah, and especially for watching the show. All three of you guys. All right, so now we're going to do what everybody's been waiting for. We're going to do previews of stuff, of cool stuff. So
and you're saying this wasn't cool? I just want to be on the record here.
I think it's time for questions. So, Justin, you got a question for us? Now, like last week, we made a change to our questions. Not the question of the week. It's if you ask questions on the show, if we air your question,
then you get a prize.
You get prizes. What is this week's prize?
Right here. This week, here, you can grab that.
Okay.
It's a great prize. It's for the holidays. It's a good holiday prize.
You're going to get Christmas Eve, the holiday mini, right here. You're going to get Herschel the reindeer, right there.
Right there.
And you're going to get the Christmas night, right there.
Right here.
By the way, Christmas Eve, Christmas night, sculpted by Bobby Jackson. These were painted, Christmas Eve, Christmas night, were painted by Jessica Rich. And those are stunning paint jobs.
Yes, they are. They're phenomenal.
I mean, when Jessica Rich sent me the photographs of those a couple years ago, they look like Disney characters. They
How
were
we doing,
just, yeah, hi Jessica. They were I was stunned. And they in person they look like animated characters. She just did a brilliant job.
Yes.
Herschel the Ranger was sculpted by Jason Wiebe, and Ann Forster painted that, and that looks like a real. I mean, that's great. Those are really great. So you're going to get those 3 metal minis. You're also going to get the holiday paint set. We'll show another picture of this, but this got 10 holiday colors in it. This is only available for 30 days throughout the year in December. So if we answer your question on the air, you're going to get the holiday paint set. Okay.
As well as the minis.
As well as you get all this.
Yes.
All this. You're going to get all this.
Yes. That's the new rules.
Okay. All right.
That's what Jason told us we have to do.
Okay. Well, Jason says it's got to go then. All right. So what do you got? What do we got for first question?
All right. This first question comes to us from one Andrew Baker Young.
Hi, Andrew.
Hyphenated.
Oh.
I've been thinking of trying to get some friends into miniature painting, I assume is what he means, and was wondering what your thoughts were on what type of minis are best to start with. Should it be larger or smaller minis? Is kind of what he's asking.
Good question. Well, I mean,
I would guess with our small worlds.
Yeah, our small world
we have
characters.
them here to talk about anyway. That's actually would work well for the question.
Yeah, yeah. What makes these guys so good for painting?
I like them. To especially somebody all of the features are just dramatically enlarged.
Yeah.
So it gives them the ability to just have fun with the model as far as being able to see the detail, not be frustrated with trying to find the eyes and find the detail. That would be some of the pluses I would say for this kind of thing. That's a good start. In addition to this, I always would also, without having small worlds figures around, would start with creatures and animals. Something where you can just show somebody basic dry brushing and washing techniques, and then they'll just be blown away and get excited and want to dig deeper. Let them find the eyes and the small detail kind of work when they get that far. But not having that around, these would be also real well because everything's so large.
Yeah, what's cool about these is when you first start painting minis, the eyes are the things you really want to, they're the thing you want to get because it brings the figure to life, right? Well, on regular scale minis, the eyes are tiny and it's difficult to do for beginning painters.
Depending on the sculptor,
Yeah.
just way down.
Yeah. So these guys have huge eyes, and so give you a little practice on how to paint those guys.
But everything about them is just enlarged.
Everything's bigger, yeah.
and
Everything's
over the
bigger.
top, so that would make finding it, painting it, having fun with it, practicing washing, dry brush, any of the basic techniques, real easy.
Kids would love these. I mean, I would love these. I do love these.
And now, where are these? When are these available?
Now
Where do you get these?
these are from Bones 4. These are in the core set. The small world characters are. The dragon is Rocky the Dragon. These were all sculpted by Gene Van Horn. That was an option set in Bones 4. These will be out in 2019. But if you got a core set through our Kickstarter, you'll get that in your fulfilled
Early on.
Yeah, when we start fulfilling.
And they'll be shot in this color. This is the new gray for that.
These are actual
Bones.
production models. And if you bought the Rocky the Red option set, you'll be able to get this particular Rocky in that set. So yeah, these are good beginning
Really
paint models.
good basic starter models.
Yeah, but we know advanced painters. Rhonda Bender painted those Rockies, and she's no beginner painter, and she
had a lot of fun.
She had a lot of fun painting those. So, and Gene Van Horn, like I said, sculpted all these. So, good job, Gene. So, yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's
What
a
else
good
you got?
question.
What else you got?
All right, next one would be from Ben Warwick.
Hi, Ben.
And he wants to know if you guys can explain how the molds and molding process are different between metal miniatures and plastic. I think we've sort of talked about this in the past, but I think he wants some more details on this.
Dealing with strictly just the molds part and not the sculpting and how we get there. Plastic there's 1,000 different ways to do anything, but generally the plastic will involve using steel or aluminum molds. They're very expensive to make. They can run, we've spent as much as $60,000 on some of them, on sets of them. But start up $3,000, $5,000, pick a number and just go there. The complicated, the size, this and the other. Now, on the reverse side is the material itself is extremely inexpensive, cheap to do when you're shooting plastic. Plus, two, it's an automated process, so the labor is minimized. So that allows us to bring out a model for $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, and even on large ones, like Maldekar for $150. That in resin would be, you could probably buy a car. So that's that process. Now on the metal side, it uses organic rubber. It was a technology invented back in the 30s. used in that time frame. They're done on a spin caster. There'll be a tour from John. John will go through casting.
Yeah.
You'll see that. So you'll actually see the machines operating, and you'll see there are these black discs. They're two-piece molds. In that particular case, an average mold, $50 to $100 in that area to produce the mold. The downside to the rubber is the labor that's involved, because every pour from the first to the last costs you the same as far as material, as far as labor. There's an additional QC step, because with the organic rubber or the organic molds as well as the caster, there's a chance that you just have to have a QC step in there. So that allows you to be able to produce, the advantages of each would be, if I need a large production run, 10,000, 20, 30,000 pieces, plastic's definitely the way to go. Because then I can amortize the cost over all of those models. On the flip side, when you're doing a limited edition, you need a short run, any of those items, then you go with the rubber. For $100, I have the tool. Now I just need to make whatever it is we're going to make. And that's sort of the two differences there. The last would be resin, which would be used, which you didn't mention, but they use a silicone mold. Very similar to the same concept. We have to make the mold. They're produced one piece at a time. They'll use various things to help, but they pour the resin in and then vac it. It's not really a centrifugal force like the casting machines do. But silicone's not cheap and doesn't last very long, which is why a lot of the resin models run up in price. You can have a resin mold that you maybe get 20 figures out of before it'll pull a chunk. And
They kind of degrade.
you degrade and start down that process. So that's really your three main types of production, and really why you would choose the different ones and what you would expect to get out of them. I hope that answers it.
That's a good question.
Meandering,
That's a
but
good
I
answer.
love meandering.
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer. Pretty short for Ed. Not bad.
Yeah, yeah. With that about molds, we have some figures back here to show off. These are Bones Black models.
Let's show this guy first.
First, we'll do them one
Okay.
at a time. Now,
That's the Gloomstalker from the Bones 4 Dark Reach set.
and with him, his weight, one of the primary cost factors for us to avoid putting him into metal would be the weight. It's a very expensive material. As such, it would run the price of that up to $20, $30.
Oh, yeah, more than that.
Easy
and
into
he's
that
a lot
area.
of parts, too.
A lot of parts. So it was easier to make that the decision then to go into Bones Black with him. As you can see the detail as he was going around, you'll see the same here.
Yeah, this is the title lurker from the Fan Favorites expansion from Bones 4.
Same
Another
thing
Bones Black
applies
model.
here, the weight, the number of pieces, the level of detail. Rubber molds being organic will tend to pull out. They will wear out. They just can last a long time, but they will wear out. This kind of detail, a lot of little spikes and stuff, will tend to pull out a lot faster.
Okay, and let's put the Burrowing Behemoth on there. Again, these are all three chunky models that in metal would be, I mean, you could do them in metal, but, you know, you can get excellent results in Bones Black.
Bones Black, yes.
And a lot more
definitely.
affordable for the consumer.
A lot more affordable.
Yeah, yeah. So,
And that also shows off some more black models, Bones Black models.
These are, and again, this is from the Dark Reach expansion from Bones 4. The Title Lurker was from the Fan Favorites, and the Gloomstalker was from the Dark Reach expansion as well.
Yeah.
So those will be coming out in 2019, like we said, Bones Black. So in 2019, we're going to have Bones and Bones Black releases, right? So, but these Bones Black ones will be out pretty soon.
I've also seen you've got some special ones. I haven't seen these at all.
Ah,
Those are today.
time for a sneak preview. All right, these are pieces that no one has seen before. Okay, nobody.
I know, I didn't see them until I came in. So.
Right. So these will be coming out this year. Versus this cool alligator guy. We call our alligator guys Shrins. It's just the name of the race we use. And in metal, again, expensive.
Large piece, expensive, yes.
Yeah. So you'll be able to get these guys in plastic. Just a cool, cool savage alligator guy. Really neat. Be out
Good for the swamp, the swamp adventure.
Exactly,
yes.
yeah. It would work great in Dreadmere. Anywhere that you have a swamp town or a swamp adventure, this guy's really cool. These will be out, I don't know, soon.
Soon PM. Yes.
To be announced at some other point. We also have, and this was sculpted by, both these models were sculpted by Chris Lewis. This is
That one's really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the undead direwolf, or dreadwolf is what we would like to call him. Chris sculpted this. He's really cool because on his left side, when he spins around, you can see he's got the exposed ribs. And
even if we just...
maybe you can flip him over. You want to see that? You can see the underneath there. He's got all the detailing in there. Now, this is what we call a volumetric print. This is not a final production piece.
What is a volumetric? Why do we use that term?
So sometimes when we get pieces done and we want to make sure that they're the correct size, we'll go ahead and print them out here digitally our 3D printers to make sure that, that, for example, wanted to make sure that this guy fits on a 2-inch base. And sure enough, before I came in here, I put him on a 2-inch base. And he fits right on a 2-inch base. So for gaming purposes, for a large creature, he's spot on. Fits right on a 2-inch base. So good job to Chris for making that guy fit.
Now that we've got the volumetric, what would be the next
So
step?
what we'll do now that we know it's the right size, if there's any details we didn't think would come out, weren't large enough or sharp enough, we'll go back and fix those. But then at that point, we will get this ready for production. It'll go off to be made into a plastic figure. Now that we know everything's correct. So yeah, those are pretty cool. So
and we generally send those. Those though go as a file. So
we send our digital files overseas to our partners, and they will produce those.
Or Fort Worth, either way, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What else do we have to put in there?
Well, those are the preview models.
That's the new ones.
Yeah, so that's all the cool preview stuff we've got.
So that means we're getting closer to finding out about that.
Yeah, we have a
agreement.
huge announcement. Are we ready for that, or we want to answer another question?
Do we have?
before
I bet we need another question.
Let's ask another question.
Since we're talking about all these really cool models, obviously they're going to get painted. People like these.
We hope so.
We hope so. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the reception seems to be pretty good for Bones Black. Now, with having said that, this kind of transitions into our question here from Will. I do not have a last name.
I will.
Are you intending to put out any more of the Learn to Paint kits? We had kind of talked about this,
We've hinted on
recently.
it before. We've hinted on it before. Yeah, so we are planning on doing another Learn to Paint kit. Learn to Paint kit number 3. Rhonda Benner's working on that. It is skin tones. How to paint skin tones.
That'll be a good compliment to the.
It's going to be a very popular topic. People want to paint that kind of stuff.
And I'm sitting there thinking that goes back to Andrew's question of how to get friends involved into painting. The Learn to Paint kits.
Yeah.
The first 2 out, and then when Rhonda's comes up, that's a really good way to start.
Yeah. The first Learn to Paint kit, core skills, and then followed by layer up. Now those aren't. You can use either one of those. You can start with either one.
It's not necessarily you must do
They're
one
not
to
in
be
sequence.
able to.
Right.
Yeah.
The techniques are kind of covered in both, but they're both great. And then the skin set by Rhonda will probably be the same kind of thing, where you sort of kind of build your paint repertoire with those particular paint sets. So we are going to do that. And again, like Andrew said, the Learn Paint kits are great ways to do that. Yeah. So those are good.
You guys want to get to the big announcement now? We've kind of drug it out. But
Well, we did, and I guess this is where you want to come on camera to explain your actions?
No.
Okay, so that's going to be in the singers then.
Some stories are best untold, left untold.
It's a good story,
Okay.
let me tell you.
All right, here's our big announcement. Drum roll. Still going. Okay, all right. Drum roll. So our good friend Jason Weaving, not only one of our favorite sculptors,
But down here, a very good friend.
good friend,
In addition to being a good, it's one of our
yeah,
best
good
sculptors.
dude, like family. Great
His
guy.
family, yeah.
Super great guy. He's had some health problems lately.
Severe
Yeah,
health problems.
yeah. He's been really sick and in and out of the hospital, and we hope he's doing really well. But we're gonna do our part to help out, and hopefully you guys are gonna help us out too.
And it's not just us; it is who all's involved in this project.
Yeah. So Bobby Jackson
did the sculpting.
did the sculpting on this piece.
There's a miniature coming. You can
Yeah, there's a mini coming. Trenchworks out in Utah. They printed the piece
They
for
do
us.
World War II tank
They do all
models,
kinds of really cool
but
stuff.
they are also do 3D prints for a lot of people in the industry, high quality ones.
They printed out this piece for us. So Bobby sculpted it. Trenchworks printed it out, and then the guys up at Fortress Figures, they ran the masters for us and sent those down to us. So they all chipped in as well, and then
Donating their services 100%.
absolutely, yeah, didn't charge us for us. And so let's go
it
and
out
do
there.
this. All right, move dead direwolf. Here we go. This is going to be the piece that we're going to be selling on our website.
Yes. 1,000 pieces.
Only 1,000.
At that point, it is literally gone. We're sending the tooling to Jason.
Jason will get the molds.
You'll never see it as a Bones model. You'll never see it as anything else.
There'll be a doorstop in his house. Never going to produce this in metal.
Is only in metal.
Just 1,000 pieces,
Yes.
right? Now we are doing a very limited amount of resin pieces, right?
Yes. Yes.
20 resin castings, and I think a dozen large 54
millimeter models.
And we're only going to print it now. I believe that we've had some painters who come on board said that they are going to paint those, and we haven't figured out the details yet, but we're going to sell those, auction those off in some way, and the money will all go to Jason as well.
100%. 100%.
All of it.
All of it goes just straight to Jason.
Every penny.
Every penny.
Not just the profit or whatever. Just
No.
everything we
penny.
collect.
Yes, we're donating all of our ability to sell it and to produce it. They've donated their abilities to create it and help set up on the tooling. The painters are donating their time for painting. 100% of it goes to Jason.
Yeah, and we want, we can do our part, but we want you guys to do your part as well. If you want to help out, you can buy one of these minis. They're only $10.
Right.
They're only $10. We have 1,000 for sale. Bobby Jackson sculpted this. Okay. Do you notice a resemblance?
Oh, yeah. This is Jason.
That looks exactly like Jason.
This is Jason. Spot on.
That is Jason in 25 millimeter heroic scale, or whatever you want to call it.
Is a dwarf, yes.
Yeah. There's some little Easter eggs on the figure. You know what? I'm not going to say what they are. You figure it out yourself.
The discussion will go.
So
when do you think this is going to go on sale?
How about right now? How about right now?
That sounds great to me.
Yeah. So if you're watching this and you want the Jason Wee Dwarf Mini,
it went on sale right now.
You better.
It's
go
already
get it.
On sale. It went on sale as of the start of the show. 6
Well,
p.m.
we just sold out. So no, but if you want it, there's only 1,000. They're only $10. Help Jason Weeby out. This is a great way to do it. So go get them, and you get it now.
All right.
Cool. So, well, anyway, look.
I can't wait. I know that
I'm excited.
We're going to sell
I'm excited.
out. Yes.
I might even paint one. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
Don't hold your breath. So that's cool. So that's one big announcement. We have another big announcement. What do you think that's going to be?
He's going to finally explain the prenup problem?
No,
Okay.
that's not it. I would give
right.
you another guess, but I don't want to risk it.
Okay.
We are going to debut fanfare and graphics and whatnot.
We don't have any of that yet.
Okay. Okay, so
Weird.
still, yeah. Can we maybe? All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's going to look as great as the first questions of the week graphic.
Yeah, well, we'll figure out something. We're going to debut the Reaper ToolBox right now.
Finally. Yes, good.
Yeah, we talked about this with Ann Forrester a few weeks ago, and you know
It's
what?
been a project going on for a long time.
Yeah, a long time. And guess what? Now's the time.
Finally here.
Now
I
the-
can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait. That would be fun.
We could spoil what she's going to talk about, but I think we should just let it speak
Yeah,
for
just
itself.
let it go.
Okay.
Y'all know who Ann is? It's the Toolbox. It's a new segment we're going to start.
If you don't know who Ann Forrester is, you've been under a rock. Ann Forrester is an award-winning painter. She's been our staff painter. She runs the paint department out here. She's a creative genius and just an incredible painter. And she's going to give you some really cool tips on how to do some really cool stuff. So let's just watch the video.
And here it is.
Hey everybody, it's Ann Forrester from Reaper Miniatures, and I am here today for the Reaper Toolbox to show you a style of painted metallics that we were taught actually by, I'm going to give cred, Kirill Kanev, who's an amazing painter and also uses Master Series paint, came and gave us a workshop, and I'm now going to expose all of his secrets for you. Well, okay, I'm just going to show you kind of what we do. So here we go. We're working on a grudge bust, which is now in stock again. Finally, after so long. And it's a great technique for larger areas of metallics, so you can really work and get a lot done. So what I've done is I've base coated the metallic area with a dark blue-black. It really doesn't matter which you use. You could use a dark brown, you could use a dark gray, but a dark color is important because metallic flake is translucent and it's made to go over a dark backdrop for maximum shine. So what I'm working with is true silver right now, and that's 9207, and we're just going to base coat the area. We just want to get on a nice solid coat. It helps to start with a lighter metallic when you're doing this technique because you're going to be throwing a lot of washes and weathering darker colors at it. So the lighter you start, the more room you have to kind of throw a whole bunch of different colors or effects. You're just going to base coat, really, and when you're working on a bigger model like this, really use the largest brush you can do for base coating that you can get away with, because you want to get the base coating part over as fast as you can. You still want to wipe a lot of your paint off of that big brush before you apply it, or it's going to take a while to dry because it's going to pool. But as you can see, I am using a gigantic brush. Here we go. All right, didn't take very long. And you could leave it at one coat. If your paint dries really fast, you can do a second coat. If you want it really bright, a second coat can be a really good idea. So I'm actually going to do that in just a second when I get this dried. All right, so we're dry, so I'm going to throw a real quick second coat on. You can see it's going to be a lot more solid. Some metallics cover better than others. It really depends on the flake. the qualities will change. So, I mean, by all means, experiment with different, like the bones silvers are going to act a little bit different than these core silvers when you put them down, and they'll shine more. I'm choosing to work with these because I wanted kind of a duller metal because he looks really beat up. So thought I would just start with that kind of in mind. There we go. We're going to let that dry, and I've already mixed my first shadow, so I'm going to explain that to you guys while we let this dry, which should only take a second. So my first shadow is going to be a mixture of things. It's going to be a couple of dark colors, and you could use a really dark brown, like walnut brown. I've used a mixture of blue liner and brown liner to kind of give me a bluish black color. To those, you're going to add some gloss sealer. That's going to be item number 9298, I think. Let me look. Yes, 9298. What that is yes, this is a shadow color, and you're like, but shadows are dark and they don't shine. But actually, when metallics do weather, unless it's dust or mud or something else opaque, there is some shine for tarnished metallics. Like if you look at blued metal, for example, on a firearm, it still has a shine to it. So that's why we're using some gloss in our mix here. We add to that a bit of water, and we also add just a little bit of our metallic in there, just to keep that suggestion that this tarnishing is going over the top of a metallic. I think my center plate here is pretty dry, so we're just going to start. You guys are going to love this technique because it's super messy. Use a brush that you don't really care about, which means I'm going to change. Yeah, let's not use that brush, Ann. All right, let's use this really, really craptastic Taklon. Cheap art store, Michael's, $1 Taklon, which is, this is your permission to use a brush like this in actual high quality painting. Fill it up, just honestly slobber it on and dab it all over the place. Leave some spots clear if you think that those spots would have rubbed off, for example. Like up here on the upper chest, there probably would be some rub off when he puts his arm across, you know, to scratch his nose or his shoulder, you know. Down here on the edge, this is going to be rubbed off too. Don't think too hard about it though, because you can always come back in and add more highlights or more shadows to tune this, and we absolutely will be doing that. But honestly, first coat, I'm going to do the first coat on the second plate. I'm just going to go a little nuts. Let's see. Want to kind of make sure that I do get my tarnish in wherever there are hollows or pits or edges, like divots, where I feel like there would be more pooling action, right? So after this first coat, I'm going to tune it a lot more that way. So we'll rinse out our big brush, and we're going to go to a smaller one. I'll use the Reaper Zero as a good size for this model. Also, if you see any bubbles, feel free to go in and pop them. You can also just blow on a wash and it'll pop the bubbles. So we're already, it's still wet, but that's not too bad. It's also going to be a little hard to figure out when it's not wet because we used gloss sealer. But what we're looking to do now is to build up deeper shadows where we think the dirt and dust and grime would really accumulate. So maybe along this crease here, we want to add in more puddly dark color, and up here right under this. And down here, there we go. And it is really wet still, so I'm going to give it just a few seconds to dry so I can really build up these colors on here and you guys can see the depth, okay? So hold on for just a second. All right, so it's had a moment to dry, so we can start to build up another layer of color. You do want to make sure that it is dry as much as possible, because if you go in while it's still tacky, you can rip paint up, which actually, for this technique, probably wouldn't be a catastrophe, but would be in any other case. So I'm actually going to get a little bit darker, I think, on this. Let me add a little bit of blue liner over here so I can grab it when I need it. And you can do that. I mean, just because you mixed up that starting color doesn't mean you can't dab in other colors. And in fact, that's what we're about to do. So there's a color we have called Russet Brown, which I really adore because it's essentially a burnt umber equivalent. And that can be used to suggest like dirt and soil. So I mixed it a little bit into my mixture of gloss sealer and stuff. And I'm going to dab it all along where I think dirt might really build up, like around those rivets. And it doesn't, you don't have to be real precise in how much you mix in. I mean, you can always go back and adjust it. Yeah, a little bit there. All those big pits would have dirt around them. He'd have dirt around his beard because he's really Kind of an ill-kempt kind of dwarf. Definitely looks like he's not part of the Dwarven Hygiene Committee, if you get my drift. All right, so see how that adds extra dimension? Because you're adding a different color, right? And you're suggesting like maybe a little bit of rust even. If you went in here with a bit of orange, you could definitely suggest some rust along this seam if you wanted to really make him out to be a dissolute sort of guy. I'm gonna do a little bit more of that up on this other plate here. I'm just taking my gloss and metal and liner mixture and putting a little bit of russet brown in it. Using a Reaper Zero brush, which is a moderately large brush. And I'm not, not really paying attention to my brush stroke. I'm just dabbing. I'm pretty much stippling it on, using the tip of the brush to create an irregular pattern, but trying to place it with purpose so that you can see where the dirt would go. There, around the rivets, wherever you think something might. And you don't want to be too regular with it. You can get a little crazy and say, oh, I think I'm just going to dirty up this part. I'm just going to dirty up that part. Like so. And if you want, you can bring in a little bit more of your dark. And really, this is about build it up as much as you think is awesome. Like as much as you have to add to make him look as dirtied up and as beat up as you want. Just keep going at it. Another cool way to mess with this is to add a little bit of red here and there, like blood splashes. So I've got spattered crimson here from, that was actually one of our Kickstarter colors, so it's a later number. It's 9277, but it's a really good red triad. You guys should check it out if you haven't. And you can just kind of dab it, like here and there. Just kind of, just a couple little specks. You don't have to make it look like super realistic. You can just put it here and there. A little bit there, a little bit right there. And vary the size of your blood speckles. And if you think they're maybe a little bit too red, you can rinse your brush, and while they're still wet, you can kind of dab at them, make them a little bit not quite as red. Or you can also just come back and touch them with some brown. Don't sweat it too much. You just, with this, the great thing about this model is the metal is so very beat up. And I'm going to raise this up so you can get it a little closer. All right, so now you can see it's a really beat up model, so it doesn't really matter. It's actually really good for you guys if you're beginning with this technique. This is a great model to start with because it does so much of the work for you, right? It shows you where all those pits and stuff are. In fact, you can see there's a couple of scratches that I could touch up. I'm going to actually switch to a smaller, finer brush now and take some of that blue liner that I pulled out and make a really dark indentation along some of these scratches and pits. So we're going to bring this in, and that looks like a pit to me, so I'm going to bring that in. And this one's going to darken up. And pretty much wherever I've got a real hole in the armor, I'm going to darken that way up, just because it would be. So that in these holes, I don't want there to be a metallic shine coming out of them. And I might put an extra shadow like underneath these rivets too, just for lighting's sake. It's how far you want to go, right? Like how much do you want to do to it? It looks pretty darn good as it is. So all right, so we'll just leave that there for shading. I'm gonna do the seam here real quick. We're just gonna put a real dark line of liner right down the seam to make sure that there's a nice separation there. And I could also do the same if I wanted to right up here on the top to kind of give it a dark shadow. Make it pop a little bit more. All right, so wherever I've added that little indent, but it looks a little unnatural, so I'm going to grab a little bit of my mix again and kind of suggest that it's dented in by putting a shadow there at the top. And again, you can always mess with it a little bit. It's really as much work and as persnickety as you want to be. And that brown got a little bit rich there. And while it's wet, it's all fair game, folks. You can take your brush and wick it right off. There we go. All right, I like it better. All right, so if you're doing a scratch, you want a very pale color to go and kind of highlight that scratch, or to just do little micro abrasions. So I think we're going to use some Shining Mithril here, which is a Bones metallic, which means it's shinier. which will be good for us when we're trying to pick up highlights. And I'm also going to get some pearl white, 9100. That's a white metallic. It's really good for highlighting other metallics. It also has a little bit more solid coverage for some things, like real fine detail. So it's a very useful thing for those. So I'm going to grab my mithril. And the first thing we want to do is maybe kind of look at our dwarf and say, okay, well, where are our spots where stuff's going to rub off? Probably on the top of these things here. And kind of add a little bit of metallic back on there. And we can also say, okay, well, there's going to be a lot of rub off around here, so I'm going to just kind of dab some brighter metallic along there. I'm going to grab some brighter metallic and pick up the edges here, because there'd be a lot of scraped off stuff, because he's obviously going to be abrading any dirt or dust or corrosion is going to be abraded on the edge. So you can even take that up into the metal a little bit here and there, make it show up a little bit better, get the rest of these, make the rivets are going to totally be rubbed off, so I want them to be very shiny on the surface. I can get the outer edge here, pick that up, make it a little brighter. Another thing about the Bones Metallics, which is very interesting, is they can be a little, although they're very, very shiny, they can also be a little translucent, which makes them really easy to blend in. So I'm not really worried about them overwhelming some of my shading here, because I can still see it partially through that. So it actually makes them really good for picking up some of these metal highlights, because they aren't going to be a hard line. It actually helps you blend. So here I'm just going to accentuate around by putting that metallic around there. Got there. You want, whenever you've got a dent or something and you want to accent it, kind of accent the lower edge of it with a little bit of a brighter metallic, because that's going to simulate it catching the light. It's going to make it look even deeper of an indentation. Anything that sticks out. And here's a little scratch that I wanted to do over here, so I'm going to take this bright metallic and I'm going to catch the bottom edge of that to simulate exactly what I just said to you. There we go. Gosh, know what made that? Some weird monster indented that. A little bit up here on the top of the chest, just stippling it on, kind of going over some of my lower stuff to make it look a little more realistic. Like I said, the fact that this is translucent can work for you, because I can make certain parts of the armor brighter without losing all the color that I laid down earlier. And there's another dent. I can get the bottom edge of that, kind of just bring this up and that up. And it also means you can bring in some of the irregularities of the armor. So let me take a look at that on my perspective. Wow, it's really mucky and grody. That brown really grodied it up. So I could decide I liked that, or I could take down that brown a bit. If I wanted to say, oh, there's too much dirt there, I really don't want that, I can take my original mixture that's more blue and black and kind of build up another layer to knock that down. If I want it really, really dark down here, I can build that another layer, successive layers of this black mixture, this liner mixture, up around it. Really, sky's the limit on what you want to do and how many layers of this stuff you want to throw at it. Pretty much mess with it until it looks awesome is the rule of the game. And I think that's about where we want to be. Oh yeah, fine scratches. So let me get some pearl white and see if it's going to be hard enough for me. Sometimes you want to add just a little bit, depending on the metallic you're using, right? Some metallics will have a high coverage at a low amount, and some won't. But if you want a really hard scratch, you might need to add a little bit of white to your metallic. And you just want to go and make a couple of fine scratches right here and there. Yeah, this isn't too bad, but I definitely could add a little bit of white to it. So I'm going to show you that. Just a tiny bit. Boom. Pick up a tiny bit of white, mix it with my pearl white for a little bit more opacity, get a really good point on my brush, and go back and hit that little scratch I want to do again, and that shows up a little bit better. But little fine micro scratches will show up best in the dark part. You want to kind of think where they're coming from. So like if there's a creature scratched this guy, you want to make sure that they're all going the same direction. Whereas if it's just scratches from normal abrasion, then you're just thinking about, oh, well, it would be, up here on the rivet, it'd be on the edge, here I'd have a harsher one. or maybe it's a whole bunch of different fights that he's been in that the scratches have accumulated through. So think about the character of the model you're working on. And my brush has disintegrated. But yeah, so that is pretty much how you do it. I'm going to actually show you the model that when Kirill came in to teach us all, Reaper sponsored that workshop, and Kirill brought us one of his models to work on, and I have mine. So I'm going to show you what I did with the first time I used this technique and how it turned out. So there's Grudgy. Actually, we're going to bring him up. That's pretty much what it's going to look like. And like I said, I could put on even more dark stuff. I could add more mud. I could do different colors. I could add some orange into that brown and make it rusty. And there's just so much you can do with this. And it was really fast, right? And messy. It didn't actually take a whole lot of brush control. And this model is great with the amount of detail it has on the metal. It does a lot of the work for you. So if you do want to practice this and you've wanted this bust for a while, it's back in stock. You can grab one up and let's have some fun. Because I think it's a great one to do shaded metallics on. So here's this model. Now I'm going to show you the one I did for Kirill's class. So there we are. So this one you can see I went really heavy on the browns because I wanted a lot more kind of a rusted out look on this. But you see like the micro scratches and where we've suggested dents and divots in the armor plate, and how the dark actually gets worse as it gets closer to that riveted inverted triangle down there where the dirt and everything water would have caught and corroded it more. So that's another example of what you can do. All right, that's been our episode of the Painting Toolbox, this time with Ann Forster, teaching you some shaded metallic techniques. I hope you guys had fun, and I hope you all run out and try them and have great success. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Wow, that was very, very... What did you think about... What the hell are you doing? Did you not watch that video?
I watched it.
No, you didn't. He was on his phone the entire time. My God.
Awesome video.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, that was cool. So are we going to see more of the Reaper Toolbox?
Very much so, very much so. We have Proctor. We have a lot of them lined up. So, and all different things. It's not just painting, construction, all sorts of
Oh, yeah,
fun
you've
stuff.
got one coming up.
Yes, I'll even have one in there.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
somewhere
cool.
down the line. Yeah.
So it'll just be anything involved with the craft.
Yes.
Yeah, so not
Very much
specifically
so.
painting, not specifically, but it could be anything to do with the craft of what we do.
Yes.
Cool. All right, cool. Well, I like the video.
I did.
I sure you did.
I'll watch it twice
So-
just to make up.
Well, I would say let's let these minis dry, but you know what? We haven't. You've done
no.
a little bit of stuff.
I've done a little bit.
don't
But tell you what, this week
don't
I'm going
you-
to take credit. How about for that one? I'll put that up and saying I.
Yeah, fine. All right.
I'll pull a
I've
Ron here.
played that game before too. Yeah. Okay. Well.
So what did
Thanks.
we cover?
Well, yeah. So
Let's start
covered.
with-
We covered the Reaper Toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
Be an ongoing thing at some point. The dwarf. You better get it now.
It's on sale now?
Only 1,000. They're going to go fast.
Uh-huh.
And we've covered some really cool bones models.
Yes.
And some preview stuff. And next week or the next time we do this, maybe we'll have some more preview models too.
Yes.
So
Sounds good to me.
maybe we'll have a special guest. Who knows? So it'll be a big surprise. So stay tuned next week. Make sure to stay up with all the latest news and information at www.reapermini.com.
Join us on all of the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram.
Submit all your questions to us at ReaperLive@reapermini.com. Right?
Yes.
Um,
Good.
Yeah, I think that's it. Well, I'm Ron Hawkins.
I'm Ed.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you later.
So a few weeks ago, we had a couple of special guests stop by the studio.
Yes.
Barbara Dolphy, Julie Guthrie.
Mm-hmm.
We sat down and what did we do? We played Tiddlywinks. Now, we
Yeah.
interviewed them. We talked with them. We recorded our big discussion. And they talked about sculpting all kinds
You know,
of
no
stuff.
one's probably, they've all left. You don't even know that they're watching
I was just trying to
this.
convince you
Oh.
to see if you knew what
you
was
can send
going
me a
on.
text. How's that? I'll be reading it.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
So,
So yes, we had Bob and Julie in here.
yeah, we
As
also
special
had
guests for our Christmas episode.
Yeah, we also had our little white elephant Christmas party too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it was more elephant than white.
It was a barrel of monkeys. So,
Oh, yeah.
and if you want to see what it looked like,
That'll be next week.
jump in next week.
So y'all have a great Christmas. We will see you then. Enjoy the holidays. Stay safe.
Happy holidays.